to something relating to agriculture, because we know that the bird flu virus, which has been ravaging certain farms across the country, is still killing birds in many parts of the country. In the Ashanti region alone, we understand 2 more farms have been identified with some infected birds. Joining us via Zoom is Ashanti Regional Chairman of the Poultry Farmers Association, Boris Baidu. Boris, how severe is the situation in the region with respect to the the bird flu outbreak there? Hello, Boris.
Well, thank you very much for your question. Yes, sir. Can you hear me, please?
It's a bit shaky, but I hope we can have a better connection. So, yes, I was asking how severe the situation is in the region. I'm afraid Boris cannot hear me. Our Zoom connection there is a bit problematic, but we will be re-establishing contact with him and have a conversation about the poultry industry and how the bird flu is ravaging farms and destroying birds, which has subsequently led to, directly or indirectly, an impact on meats in the various markets. We understand there's also a shortage of eggs in some parts of the country. Once we're able to establish contact with Boris, we'll be engaging him on the impact of this particular matter. But we know that in the early times of the outbreak, the Volta region, the Ashanti region, and the Central region were the regions that had been, affected with some of the bird flu cases. Now we know that some other regions are recording cases, and now we're also learning many more farms, especially in the Ashanti region, have also recorded some cases. So the veterinary officials have moved on to deal with the situation. We're joined on the line by an individual from the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. He is Dr. Benjamin Kisi. He is a risk communications officer. He'll be engaging us with the latest. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, from your reading and your surveillance, how bad is the bird flu outbreak in the country now?
Okay, currently, the whole country, we have recorded 29 cases. Greater Accra, out of 8th July, which we recorded our first case, to 8th August, we have recorded 29 cases. Greater Accra is having 21.
Okay.
Central region is having 3. Volta region is having 2. Ashanti region is having 3. And Greater Accra, we have had 21,600 deaths affected. Out of it, we have 12,494 deaths which died naturally due to the bird flu, and 9,106 which were destroyed for containment purpose. In Central region, we have had 13,657 deaths affected. Out of it, we have 4,100 deaths which died due to the bird flu, actually.
Okay.
We destroyed 9,557 beds for containment of the disease.
Okay.
In Central region, we have had 2,894 beds affected. Out of it, we have 668 beds which died naturally, and 2,226 beds which were destroyed for containment of the virus.
Now, there are fears that some of these affected birds may have found their way into the other regions which do not have cases as we speak. Are consumers of poultry products safe to consume poultry products at this point?
Okay, with regards to all the farmers that are affected, when we get their farm records, we go through, we are able to pick the statistics to know from the start of the disease how many that have died. We go and inspect wherever they buried. Sometimes we end up zooming the carcasses to count and be sure. Then the one that we destroy, we count all of them and create a site which is designated by the municipal or district assembly. We go there with a team, with fire service, with environmental health, and Ghana Health Service. So we dig deep and get the body of these carcasses that have destroyed there and pour chemicals. So it's hardly for somebody to go for them because chemicals have been poured in very 6 feet. And so it's difficult for somebody to go for them and bring it to the market.
Okay.
So public is safe. And Food and Drug Authority are also always in the market making sure. So far, so good. There has been a good cooperation for farmers for these birds not to get to the market. So the public should not panic. We are still on guard, having monitoring team and responding in even regions that have not yet had a share of this virus. We are hoping that we are still going to have these 4 regions and probably get these cases reduced.
Okay.
And we don't go further with a lot of cases.
Before you leave us, I want to know what happens to the farmers whose farms are affected, which have their birds subsequently destroyed. Does that mean the farmers have lost their products for good? Is that just how it
Yes.
ends?
Yes, poultry is a big investment. The two deputy ministers of Ministry of Food and Agriculture have joined two teams. I think they did that 3 weeks back, went to some of these farmers to observe for themselves to see the state. And they gave their word after inspection to the media that they are fair, they put up their notes, they are going to have a meeting and come out with something to support them.
Okay.
Even the launch of very important job, they want to convince people that they can still be into poultry.
Okay.
So we are just waiting for them. And there are calls from various farmers about the compensation. And in 2007, when it happened, the compensation came 2015 to run out. Just that people don't get a compensation. This time they are being worried. Yesterday, Greater Accra branch of the Poultry Farmers Association came to our directorate to have interaction with the director, and which he reiterated that what the two deputy ministers have said, they are working on it. We
Okay.
have given them the statistics, we have given them a number of days that have been destroyed, those who have died, and we are hoping they come out with how to go about it in terms of any support for them as soon as possible.
All right.
And
Thank
we
you
also
very
heard that
much. Thank you very much. We had there speaking to us Dr. Benjamin Kisi Sasu, who is a risk communications officer at the Veterinary Service, speaking to us on the outbreak of bird flu in parts of the country. He mentions that the regions continue to be the Greater Accra, the Central and the Volta regions, and many more farms are being affected. He also speaks about the fact that there's some discussion ongoing about a support system for affected farmers so they do not lose out on their investments altogether. We'll be joined in a short time by Boris Baidu. He is the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the Poultry Farmers Association. How are the farmers in the region dealing with the outbreak, and how are they also ensuring that affected birds do not find their way onto the markets for the wider consuming public to purchase for their meals? And we also know that there's also a conversation about the shortage of eggs and the prices of eggs shooting up astronomically. When Boris joins us, we'll be having that conversation about what the impact of these hiking prices will be to the consumption of eggs in the Ashanti region, and of course extrapolate to the other parts of the country, the Volta, the Greater Accra, the Eastern, the Bono, and many other parts of the country where poultry and poultry meat is being consumed by a lot of Ghanaians for their meals. And so as Boris joins us, we'll be having that conversation.